Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. And happy Christmas to you, by the way. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? We only have one clip to watch. It's a UK clip for my UK viewers. It is Nicola Sturgeon. She is the Premier of Scotland. For those that probably don't know, we have a devolved British Union now. This is supposed to be something good, right? We become more divided as time goes on, but that's supposed to be good. But that's another argument. Now, this is obviously about the coup, as you're probably aware. Everything that the so-called quote-unquote conspiracy theorists have said about it, I'm afraid to say, is true. You can't argue with that, right? You can try, but it's 3 out of 3 at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. Now, they're bringing in vax passports in Scotland. They're being very aggressive about it. Now, when you watch this clip, I want you to keep in mind an opinion that a lot of people have, including me. And that is that these people are beginning to it's really starting to creak at the seams. What I mean by that is this lust for power they have, yeah? As time goes on, they are finding it increasingly difficult to masquerade and, how can I put it? To mask it, excuse the pun, behind benevolence. They want you to think that, and she even says this, we're doing it reluctantly. I'm sure you are. If you have a conscience and you understand that the public are real people with real lives who pay your wages, madam, you might start listening to them, because you don't. You listen to your select group of experts who never follow their own advice. What are we to do? You punish us for going on our lives as normal, yet you don't follow your own advice. It's funny how you never get punished, isn't it? You yourself, Sturgeon, Boris Johnson, and all of you. So look, let's get into this clip. We're going to see what she has to say, and I will respond to it, of course. Points that I feel that I need to make, and we'll get into that now. If you haven't yet, though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell, and share the video around. We are on BitChute again now, YouTube. BitChute will go on to Rumble soon, because I think they're picking up in subscriberships and viewerships. I also have a membership scheme you can join if you so choose. I have 8 amazing, beautiful members who humble and honour me that they support the Hoggcast financially by becoming a member of the Coffee Club or the Gold Club. You could do that too if you choose, but you don't have to. Okay, let's go. Right, we'll play it once through, 2 minutes, and then we'll go back, stop it, and we'll play it again, and I'll make the points I need to make. There's quite a lot of them as well. There's a lot of things I want to say about this.
So my first new request of everyone today is this. From the 27th of December, as we come out of the Christmas weekend, and at least until the end of the first week in January, when we will review this advice again, please go back to limiting your contacts as much as you possibly can. Please stay at home as much as is feasible. When you do go out, maintain physical distancing from people not in your own group. And difficult though it is, please follow this advice over New Year. Minimise hogmanay socialising as much as you can. If we all follow the advice to minimise the contact we have outside our own households, we will help limit the spread of infections. So this is the bedrock of our plan for the immediate period ahead. However, while our core advice is to reduce socialising and stay at home as much as feasible, the Cabinet's judgment is that we must also take some further steps to make the places where people might still gather as safe as possible. And that is why we are proposing some additional protections. None of these are being proposed lightly, but we do consider them necessary to help stem the increase in cases, safeguard health and protect the NHS, the emergency services and the economy while we complete and get the full effect of the booster programme. So first, from the 26th of December, inclusive of that date, for a period of up to 3 weeks, we intend to place limits on the size of live public events that can take place. This does not apply, let me stress, to private life events such as weddings. For indoor standing events, the limit will be 100. For indoor seated events, it will be 200. And for outdoor events, 500 seated or standing. Physical distancing of 1 metre will be required at events that go ahead within these limits. This will, of course, make sports matches, including football, effectively spectator-free over this 3-week period, a situation similar to that in Wales from Boxing Day. And it will also mean, unfortunately, that large-scale Hogmanay celebrations, including that planned here in our capital city, will not proceed. I know how disappointing this will be for those looking forward to these events and for the organisers of them.
It's always what you can't do, isn't it? Always what you can't do, and it never applies to them. One thing that has always been abundantly clear to me with Nicola Sturgeon is that she lusts for power. She wants power. She wants as much of it as she can get. So we'll go back now. There's a lot of things she said there, a lot of points about the whole situation in general I want to make. So we'll go back now. We'll play it again, and then I'll stop it quite regularly this time, to be honest, because it boils my urine. This stuff. So yeah, we'll do that now. Okay, so over to Nicola Sturgeon. This is the Holyrood. It's like the Scottish Parliament. So they all stand in a circle. It is the definition of an echo chamber. A definition of an echo chamber.
Request of everyone today is this. From the 27th of December, as we come out of the Christmas weekend, and at least until the end of the first week in January, when we will review this advice again, please go back to limiting your contacts as much as...
So... At the end of, sorry to interrupt so quickly, at the end of a Christmas weekend, and then until the end of at least the first week in January, do you know what that time frame is? It's 2 weeks. We're still at 2 weeks to stop the spread. And I'll tell you, there's going to be people that will listen to this, right? This woman who watched this originally, and they will think, oh, thank you, madam. Thank you for giving me what was my birthright. Let me tell you something, people. You don't have to ask anyone for your freedoms and liberties. If you do, then you don't live in a free society. If you have to ask someone for basic liberties for 2 weeks, oh thank you, you're going to give us 2 weeks of our liberties back. Oh, you know, you're top notch.
As you possibly can. Please stay at home as much as is feasible. When you do go out, maintain physical distancing from people not in your own group. And difficult though it is, please follow this advice over New Year.
Why don't you please follow the advice? Why doesn't Boris Johnson please follow the advice? Why doesn't your so-called experts follow the advice? The damage that you politicians, you mainstream globalist politicians, your friends in academia, your friends especially in the mainstream media, the damage you do when you politicise and you tribalise every issue in society cannot be overstated. Once upon a time, people who had the label expert were very well respected people, regardless of their field, regardless of the person we're talking about. But now, so-called experts are, not all of the time, depending on the situation, it changes, doesn't it? But especially around this, and any so-called expert that even has a slight connection to a globalist politician, it's reached the point where these so-called experts are considered with extreme suspicion. And of course, we all get the blame for that. YouTubers especially will get the blame for that. Conservative commentators will get the blame for it. You know who won't get the blame for it? The people themselves. It seems oblivious to them that their bad reputation in the eyes of the public comes from them.
Minimise Hogmanay socialising as much as you can. If we all follow the advice to minimise the contact we have outside our own households, we will help limit the spread of infections.
So, because I haven't been poked or boosted, and I'm not going to. That's my choice. If you want to, that's fine. Don't take it medical advice from me. Certainly don't take it from Nicola Sturgeon. Take it from your doctor and make your own choice for your life and your family. That being said, I do laugh inside at people who are triple boosted, double jabbed, masked up to their eyeballs, you know, and social distance, and they still do it. They still go along with it. Yeah? Oh, well, it's just going to be another 2 weeks to stop the spread. I often say to these people on Twitter, and they never respond. They'll respond to something else, but they never respond to this, and that is, where do you draw the line? What would it be? I mean, we've seen the concentration camps in Canada and Australia. So you're double jabbed, triple poked, you social distance, you wear your mask, you've been put in a concentration camp, but it's only 2 more weeks to stop the spread. Where do you draw the line? Tell me. I want to know. I want to understand. Tell me. Yeah?
So this is the bedrock of our plan for the immediate period ahead. However, while our core advice is to reduce socialising and stay at home as much as feasible.
So these people are very keen to stop you socialising, yeah? Very keen for you to not communicate with anyone.
The Cabinet's judgment is that we must also take some further steps to make the places where people might still gather as safe as possible. And that is why we are proposing some additional protections.
So you're going to hear words like protection and safe come up, yeah? This is what I mean. It is a power grab masked in benevolence, excuse the pun again. And I say this because these people keep getting caught on both sides of the pond, yeah? They keep getting caught breaking their own rules. So if you put a lot of value on what you're saying, why would you then do the opposite? And not only that, they do it when they think you're not looking. To commit an act that you're trying to keep secret from another, especially if you're in the public sector, if you're in public life, shows deception. So you can blame YouTubers, you can blame conservative commentators, you can blame anyone for the distrust in you and what you stand for. You can put the blame on us, fine, I don't care. But it's you. If you don't stick to your own rules, do you honestly blame people who refuse to go along with it?
None of these are being proposed lightly, but we do consider them necessary.
Whenever I hear this crap, right, it always reminds me of one of my favourite Star Wars films, which is Revenge of the Sith. You know where Palpatine, if you've watched it, you'll remember where Palpatine becomes the Emperor. Or just before he becomes the Emperor, he becomes like Supreme Chancellor, but normally where Supreme Chancellors, they have a fixed time in the Senate and the Coruscant Senate. Their time ends and then they stop, yeah? His was indefinite. And he said something similar. He was like, oh, you know, this is really a big undertaking. I don't want this, but yeah, I suppose I'll take it. Sure, I suppose I'll take enough power to tell you what you can do, when you can do it, where you can go, where you can't go, what you can eat, what you can't eat, who you're allowed to talk to, who you're allowed to not talk to, what you should be putting in your body, ordering you to get a poke passport, and so on and so on. Yeah. But remember that they don't want to do this. It hurts them to do this. They need you to remember that it's all for you. Yeah.
To help stem the increase in cases, safeguard health and protect the NHS, the emergency.
So, another thing you will notice is that whenever they want something to sound worse, they will use deaths. Yeah? Whenever it's not convenient for them, when enough people haven't died, they will switch it to cases. They will also use hospitalisations as well if they really want to scare you. Yeah. Keep that in mind because you'll notice it. You will notice it. And she's not the only one that does it. They all do. Yeah.
Emergency services and the economy while we complete and get the full effect of the booster programme. So first, from the 26th of December, inclusive of that date, for a period of up to 3 weeks, we intend to place limits on the size of live public events that can take place. This does not apply, let me stress, to private life events such as weddings. For indoor standing events, the limit will be 100. For indoor seated events, it will be 200. And for outdoor events, at 500 seated.
Because the COOF, if you have like just 200 people inside a building, if there was 201 people, the COOF would be able to burst through the doors. But so long as there's 200, it's somehow kept at bay. Yeah? I don't know which country it is. I think it might even be Scotland, or it might be Ireland. But there was a guy who was saying that they've kept the nightclubs open over this holiday period, but if you go into the clubs or the pubs, you have to hold your beer. You can't put your beer down on the table. If you put your beer down on the table, you have to put your mask on. Explain that to me. I can't work it out. I'm just trying. I'm doing loops of reasoning in my head. So, if you're standing 10 abreast at the bar, and every man is holding his pint in his hand, COVID's at bay. The second they all put their pints down on the table, oh no, it's a public health emergency, even though they're stood shoulder to shoulder. These are the people making the decisions, yeah?
Or standing. Physical distancing of 1 metre will be required at events that go ahead within these limits. This will, of course, make sports matches, including football, effectively spectator-free over this 3-week period, a situation similar to that in Wales from Boxing Day. And it will also mean, unfortunately, that large-scale Hogmanay celebrations, including that planned here in our capital city, will not proceed. I know how disappointing this will be for those looking forward to these events.
No, you don't. Because for the last 2 friggin' years now, it just never ends, right? The public have been far too generous with you politicians. Really, it's like, you take us for fools. You think we're mugs. And I know you do, because you don't stick to your own laws. You don't stick to your own rules, your own bylaws. Call them what you want. You don't have a poke passport. You don't need one. But we do. I thought it was meant to be beneficial. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. It blows my mind that people still provide these mainstream politicians with a limitless supply of generosity and goodwill. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know what it's like. I know there's a lot of people who say, oh, I've just got a job, or, I don't want to lose my job. And people have families. I know it's difficult, and I'll tell you this, it's more difficult than you probably think, because if you just keep complying and you think if you comply some more, eventually this person who you can sense it from her, loves power. If you think she's going to give you your liberties back, there's nothing I can do to open you to reality, yeah? You're not getting it back, right? It'll just be another 2 weeks, and then another month, and then another 2. What they're hoping is you just shut up and do it. They think if they just make it severe enough, you will eventually shut up and do it. Now, there was, in fact, this is the end of the clip. I'll show you something now from Lori Lightfoot in the USA. You know her, especially my US viewers. She is the Chicago mayor, one of the worst, most inept mayors in Chicago's history, and that's saying a lot because the city is deeply corrupt, just like most big Democrat urban centres are corrupt through and through. But she said something rather revealing. Okay, let's take a look. This is my coup d'etat piece of evidence, yeah? If you don't get it, I give up. I give up. I'll just cast you aside and then you can do what you want. So, this is Mayor Lori Lightfoot, yeah? She's got a mask on in her Twitter thing, her Twitter profile picture. virtue signalling. How many times has she been caught without it on when she thinks there's no cameras? That's not my point. So, this is a tweet from Mayor Lori Lightfoot explaining what's happening in the city of Chicago in regards to the whole COVID political scene. To put it simply, if you have been living vaccine free, what does that mean? Does this person think that nobody's ever been vaxxed? I've had my TB shot. Yeah, I've had my measles shot when I was a kid. It's not about being anti-vax. It's not about that. Yeah? It's about having choice. But it goes further than that. It's about realising, yeah, that there's something afoot here. And let's continue. And you'll see what I mean. If you have been living, whatever that crap says, your time is up. This is a threat, right? To put it simply, if you have been living vax-free, your time is up. If you wish to live life with the ease to do, she doesn't even make sense. If you wish to live life as the ease to do things you love, you must be. She's illiterate. This is the mayor of a huge city. Billions of pounds a year budget. She's illiterate. She's illiterate. Okay, so you must be vaxxed. It continues. This health order may pose an inconvenience to the unvaxxed, and in fact, it is inconvenient by design. There's something about this that's worrying a lot of people, yeah? And that is that these people, that's the whole political establishment on both sides of the pond, the mainstream media, they seem strangely eager, desperate even, to get you to take. First it was just the one jab, then they said, oh, it's just the booster, then it's the second, then it's the second booster, third booster, they're on to the fourth in some countries now. And all of these measures they've put in to guilt trip you and scare you into getting it. The only reason I can think this is happening is because they get some sort of financial kickback from the big pharmaceutical companies. That's the only reason that I can think that the government, which never gave a damn about the people, is suddenly so eager to get you to do this. They're extremely, bordering on desperation. What's going on, right? People aren't robots. Apart from leftists. I mean, leftists are robots. But normal people aren't robots, and they see what's happening. People have the right to be distrustful of government. The position of the left, bizarrely, seems to be government is king. Government is God, even. You can't question the word of government. And if you live in a society where you can't question the word of government, you live under tyranny. And I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.